We like to picture a single spark, one brilliant ancestor, one perfect night, one perfect sound rising over a dark plain. Today, music is everywhere, in earbuds, in elevators, in algorithms that guess our moods. Back then it was a miracle, breath in bone, skin on wood, stone on stone. But that's not all. To truly understand the first human who invented a musical instrument, we have to abandon the hunt for one name and listen for a pattern of hands, of hearts, of silence broken on purpose. Imagine the oldest theatre, a cave mouth open to the sky, a wind that knows the shape of your ear, a fire speaking in small tongues. Hunger is close, danger closer. The world is mostly work, scraping, stitching, carrying, nursing, burying. And yet, somewhere between breath and bone, a sound appears that is not a warning and not a task. It's a choice. That's the invention. Sound, chosen and repeatable, a tool for feeling. There are two ways people tell this origin. One says rhythm came first. Hands on skin, sticks on logs, feet on packed earth, heartbeat turned outward. The other says melody, wind through a hollow bone, a bird's wing turned into a line of notes. Both are true in the way that patterns outlive the urge to crown a single champion. Percussion is the body remembering itself. Flutes are the wind remembering us. Start with the simplest instrument of all, the drum that wasn't a drum yet. A hide stretched to dry over a frame, a hand pressed, curious. The skin answers with a low, warm syllable. The hand replies, back and forth, a short conversation where time keeps nodding yes. Soon there is a circle. Face is tipped towards sound like flowers towards sun. Night feels smaller. That is not a small thing. Or start with a hollow, a bone bored by root or worm, a reed broken just so. Breath passes and the world thins to a thread of tone. A child laughs, an elder frowns. Someone says, do that again. Do that again is the axis of technology. Repetition tames accident. Skill is accident, domesticated. But that's not all. Music is not only what is made, it is what it makes. Under a winter sky, rhythm keeps fingers moving, keeps sorrow from freezing into silence. At a burial, a low chant gives the unsayable a place to stand. At a birth, high notes stitch fear to joy. The newborn hears the river of breath and agrees to join. Music is how a group becomes one thing without losing the many. An instrument is a shortcut to that unity. To truly understand how an instrument begins, imagine three scenes. Scene 1, the cave and the echo. A band walks into a chamber with walls like wet teeth. Someone claps once. The cave answers with a ghost of the clap, returning in steps near, then far, then gone. This is not practical. It is irresistible. Hands find the beat that wakes the stone. Feet stamp where the echo kisses back. Call and response is older than language. Language is only call and response wearing shoes. Scene 2. The bone and the bird. On a cold morning, a hunter turns a wing bone in their fingers, notices the curve, the lumen, the way light passes through like thin water. A flake of stone makes a careful hole. Another and another. Breath trembles, then steadies. A fragile ladder of sound rises from the mouth to the air, a place to put feelings that do not fit inside the chest. Children hum with it. Elders tilt their heads, trying to hear the map hidden in the line. The village has a new tool, a way to ask the day to open. Scene 3. The skin and the circle. Hide pulled tight, sinew laced, a hoop that turns animal into calendar. A hand strikes. Another follows, then sticks, then stones, then voices. The pattern thickens until the night has a skeleton and a pulse. Dances become grammar. The pause is the comma. The leap is the exclamation. The sway is the long sentence where breath is held and then released. When the song stops, the dark is not as dark. Everyone can sleep. So who was the first? The truth is unromantic and because of that more beautiful. Not a single mind many. Not a single place wherever hollows and hands and breath conspired. Our oldest instruments are the ones that got lucky, the bones that did not rot, the stones that did not crack, the caves that were dry enough to remember us. The real firsts were made of wood and skin and hope materials with a short memory. They are gone. Their echo is us. But that's not all. An instrument is a piece of disciplined physics wearing a human face. Length and thickness tell a flute which notes it can dream about. Tension and tightness tell a drum which thunder it can borrow. Resonant hollows are patient. They wait for a reason to ring. Humans are impatient. We put our reasons inside the hollows and call it art. Between patience and impatience lies design. Consider the first mistakes, which are also the first teachers. The hole drilled too close to the edge, a hiss where a note should be. The skin stretched too loose, a shame-faced thud. The stick too heavy, wrists ache, rhythm limps. Correction arrives as craft, smaller bore, drier hide, lighter mallet. Knowledge becomes portable, the measure carried in the eye, the feel carried in the fingers, the sound carried in the head. A people that can carry sound can carry each other. Examples help, stories hold them. Example 1, the child who would not sleep. Each time eyes begin to close, the body jerks awake, afraid of the falling that dreams require. A grandmother hums, the hum does not travel far. It is a warm blanket that weighs nothing. She finds a reed, punches one hole, then a second. The notes do not matter yet. What matters is the ladder of breath. The child's breathing learns the steps and goes where the song wants. Invention is sometimes only this, a way to help one person through a night. Example 2, the winter no one expected. Cold crawls under skins and refuses to leave. People move less. Moving less is dangerous. Stillness invites fear to squat by the fire like a king. Someone begins a beat that is also a task scrape, turn, until the camp's hands are working to the same invisible drum. The day does not shrink as much. Hours keep each other company. Rhythm is a tool for time. Example 3, the wound that would not close. A young person dies, and the air does not know where to put the sound of it. Silence can break. Sometimes it is kinder to bend it first. The voice falls into a low plainchant, the notes like riverstone, simple, worn, solid. A drum gives the ground back to feet that cannot trust it. Grief becomes walkable. This too is what instruments are for. To truly understand the first instrument, measure not the thing itself but the distances it closed. Distance between one breath and another, shorter. Distance between one body and another, shorter. Distance between this world and whatever we mean by the word beyond. Not closed, but bridged. Bridges invite traffic. Traffic invites culture. Culture invites memory. Memory invites more instruments. But that's not all. Once a sound can be asked for, it can be organized. Patterns become habits. Habits become ceremonies. Ceremonies become calendars. Every year, the same drum says the same welcome to the same returning birds. Every birth hears the high, bright spiral of the same reed in the same corner of the same room. Every burial is wrapped in the same deep skin that says gently, "Go with all our names on you." This is how a tool becomes the spine of a people. Of course there is a darker thread, because all powerful things cast one. Music persuades. It teaches bodies to move together, and bodies moving together can heal and can harm. The drum that keeps feet warm keeps feet marching. A horn that calls a village to feast can call it to fight. That is not an argument against instruments. It is a reminder. Anything that unites should be asked to justify the uses of its unity. Let's pull closer to the hands themselves, the true makers. Fingers learn before words teach. The thumb finds leverage. The palm finds pressure. The owner finds a posture that turns strain into flow. Callous is a certificate. I stayed until the sound was honest. Tools accrete around the instrument like moons around a planet. A scraper that makes thin seams, a heated awl that tightens a mouth, a smooth stone that coaxes a skin into singing range. Craft is music for the eyes and hands. The first luthier was a listener who could also measure. Now consider the small sciences inside the old magic. Air wants to vibrate at certain sizes. We call these sizes notes. Material wants to answer at certain tensions. We call these answers tone. Shape steers both into a place we can visit on purpose. A flute is a hallway that teaches air to walk in step. A drum is a field where pressure runs until it finds a fence and then it turns and runs again. String and bow will come later, but the principle is already here. Energy stored, energy released, sound born in the compromise. But that's not all. Instruments alter time. A melody makes 5 minutes feel like one long breath. A groove makes 1 hour feel like 10 short ones. This is not trivial. Bodies remember time by feelings as much as by suns. If a people can stretch and compress felt time, they can survive winters and mornings that would otherwise break them. No kiln, no loom, no spear is more intimate than this, the ability to edit how it feels to be alive. And there is the other intimacy, teaching. An instrument is a teacher that fits in a hand. A grandparent can put a drum under a child's fingers and move the small wrists until beat and breath agree. A parent can place their mouth over the child's on a reed and share a scale without a syllable. A stranger can join a circle and know what to do within 5 heartbeats. Names are optional. Belonging is not. We are close to the culmination, the turn where wonder meets cost. Picture a performance that is not a performance. Midwinter in a narrow valley. The wind is a blade. A woman with a drum begins a pattern so slow it feels like counting stars. Others follow, one by one, until the room of bodies moves as if by one lung. Hours pass. Grief loosens its hands from around the throats of those who could not speak earlier. When they do speak, the words are simple. Thank you, I can sleep. And then, in the same season, a different circle forms, men with painted forearms, feet like stones. The drum says go and they go. 1 instrument, 2 outcomes. Power does not pick sides. People do. If you need a single face for the first inventor, make it this. Someone who could not bear the silence of a particular night. Someone who could not speak what needed saying. Someone who put breath into a hollow, or hand onto a skin, and found that the world had room for a new kind of truth. Not a king, not a prophet, a person with a problem and enough tenderness to solve it beautifully. To truly understand why the instrument stayed, consider how it multiplies kindness. A lullaby saves 2 lives, the child's and the caregiver's. A work song keeps more than hands moving, it keeps dignity moving. A wedding reel stitches hope to memory. Everyone there becomes an archivist for an afternoon. A funeral hymn teaches even the loneliest grief to walk in step long enough to make it to tomorrow. These are not luxuries. They are infrastructure. But that's not all. Instruments train attention. To tune, you must listen past your own desire. To blend, you must diminish your own brightness without going dark. To lead, you must become a place others can relax into. These are civic skills wearing music's clothes. The first instrument was also the first classroom that did not need a roof. What of the instrument maker, the first one who made not just sound, but a thing that prompts sound? Picture them sorting bones by straightness, woods by grain, skins by thickness. Imagine a table of failures, each with a note pinned to it in memory if not ink. Too thin, too dull, too brave. Try this when the room is larger. Design is a polite argument with matter. The winner is the person who can lose most gracefully until the material says yes. If you could visit their workshop open air, no roof but weather, you would not find a museum. You would find jokes about squeaks, rituals about drying, taboos about playing before dawn. You would find rules about who may touch what and who must not, and when children can graduate from tapping to carrying to calling. You would find the beginnings of guild and school and stage, you would find, above all, patience. Curtain close, then. Who was the first human who invented a musical instrument? Someone whose name is lost, as most precious names are. Someone who gave breath a new job and hands a new excuse. Someone who understood that the world can be persuaded by beauty to be kinder, if only for a few minutes, if only for a roomful of hearts. We inherit that few minutes. We are responsible for how we spend it. Here is the quiet philosophy at the end. An instrument is a bridge over a gap that words cannot cross. It turns time into a place where strangers can meet and leave less strange. It turns fear into rhythm, sorrow into tone, loneliness into harmony. We did not invent music to decorate life. We invented it to survive each other and ourselves. And that is why the first instrument maker feels so near whenever anything true is played. Because beginnings that matter don't end. They keep becoming.